On the morning of January 16, 2026, a luthier's workshop in Cremona, Italy, opens for the day. The owner unlocks the front door, steps inside, and stops. 3 instruments are gone. Not broken cases, not scattered rosin. Just gone, as if they had never been there at all. This is the story of the black market for stolen high-end vintage violins. Cremona is the birthplace of the modern violin. Antonio Stradivari worked here in the 17th and 18th centuries, producing somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 instruments over the course of his life. Approximately 650 survive. Each one is catalogued, studied, and known to specialists the way individual human beings are known to their families. By the grain of the wood, the particular amber of the varnish, the precise curl of the scroll. And yet, in the first quarter of 2026 alone, 8 instruments meeting this description were reported stolen across Europe and North America. Not recovered. Stolen. A Stradivarius is worth between $5 and $20 million, depending on its provenance and condition. It is also, by every measure that matters to law enforcement, one of the worst assets a criminal could choose to steal. It cannot be sold at auction without documentation. It cannot cross most borders without provenance papers. Every major dealer knows every major instrument. The FBI's art crime team maintains a database. Interpol has a dedicated cultural property unit. Scotland Yard has a specialist. On paper, a stolen Stradivarius is a liability. In practice, it is something else entirely. The answer to that contradiction lies in how these instruments move after they disappear. Step 1 is what forensic investigators call the cooling off period. A high-profile theft generates immediate attention. Alerts to dealers, notices to auction houses, updates to the stolen art file. So the instrument goes nowhere. It sits in a private safe, a climate-controlled storage unit, a temperature-regulated vault somewhere nobody is looking. Investigators believe the average cooling-off period for a stolen instrument at this level is between 5 and 15 years. Some have waited longer. The thief is not in a hurry. The instrument does not depreciate. Step 2 is the physical erasure. This is where the violin ceases to be what it was. A skilled craftsman, not the thief, almost never the thief, but someone further down the chain, removes or alters the identifying features. The scroll, the carved head of the instrument, is the most distinctive element. It can be reshaved. The varnish, Stradivari's varnish specifically, has been the subject of centuries of study and is partially identifiable through spectroscopic analysis, so it is stripped and reapplied. The label inside, Stradivari signed his instruments with printed labels, is removed or replaced. Replaced not with a forgery intended to fool experts, but with a plausible period label from a lesser maker, intended only to provide a cover story good enough to get through a single transaction. The instrument is now, on paper, a different violin. Step 3 is provenance construction. This is the most sophisticated phase and the one that most directly mirrors the financial crime of money laundering. A fabricated ownership history is assembled. Private sales, estate transfers, inheritance records from jurisdictions with weak documentation standards. The instrument re-enters the market not as a stolen Stradivarius, but as a recently discovered instrument of uncertain but plausible origin. An instrument like this, carrying a constructed provenance from a private collection in a former Soviet republic or a South American estate sale, asks very few questions and answers even fewer. In 2012, the Lipinski Stradivarius, one of the most valuable violins in existence, was stolen from the concertmaster of the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. It was taken at gunpoint outside a concert hall. The instrument was recovered several weeks later, largely because it was too well known to be moved. But investigators noted what had not yet happened. No alteration, no cooling off, no provenance fabrication. The thief had not gotten that far. The question the case left open was, what would have happened if he had? There are instruments for which that question has no answer because they have never been recovered at all. The 1727 Kiesewetter Stradivarius, stolen from a private collector in 1963, not seen since. The ex-Rubin Stradivarius, stolen in 1994. A viola made by Stradivari, one of only a handful known to survive, missing since 1999. Investigators believe some of these instruments are in private hands, either owned by buyers who do not know what they possess, or by buyers who know exactly what they possess and have no intention of ever displaying them. The second category is what drives the trade. The ultimate buyer for a stolen instrument of this caliber is not a fence, not a dealer, not a speculative criminal. It is a collector, wealthy enough to absorb the cost, private enough to never play the instrument publicly, patient enough to wait out any investigation. In the world of ultra-high net worth collecting, a stolen Stradivarius in a private vault is not a crime concealed. It is a trophy held. The forensic challenge of identifying a refinished instrument is significant and growing. The Stradivarius varnish problem is illustrative. For 3 centuries, researchers have attempted to reverse engineer Stradivari's varnish formula. The specific combination of resins, oils, and mineral components he used remains genuinely uncertain. What is known is that it produces a spectroscopic signature detectable with non-invasive analytical techniques, X-ray fluorescence, Raman spectroscopy, infrared reflectography. These tools can, in ideal conditions, identify a Stradivarius instrument even after the varnish has been stripped and replaced. The wood itself retains a memory. The density, the response of the cellular structure to centuries of acoustic vibration, the trace mineral absorption from the alpine spruce, these are not erased by refinishing. They require sophisticated equipment and expert interpretation, but they are there. The problem is access. Forensic analysis of this depth requires the instrument to be in hand, and instruments held in private vaults are not in hand. They are inaccessible by design. In 2024, a task force comprising Interpol's Cultural Property Unit, the Carabinieri TPC, Italy's specialist cultural heritage protection force, and the FBI's art crime team attempted a coordinated operation targeting 3 suspected storage locations in Switzerland, Luxembourg, and the United Arab Emirates. The legal frameworks governing private storage in these jurisdictions are not aligned. A warrant issued in one country does not execute in another without a treaty framework that in several of these cases did not exist or had not been invoked. The operation recovered one instrument, not a Stradivarius, but a valuable Italian instrument from the 18th century. The other locations were cleared before access was granted. The lawyers moved faster than the investigators. The auction market is the other vector. Major auction houses have compliance frameworks for cultural property, provenance disclosure requirements, database checks against the stolen art file, and the art loss register. But the private auction market, the invitation-only sales conducted without public catalogues, in hotel conference rooms and private galleries, operates with far less visibility. It is here that instruments with constructed provenances most often change hands. A private sale at this level requires no catalogue entry, no public record, and in many jurisdictions no disclosure beyond the basic transfer of ownership. The buyer acquires the instrument and its constructed history simultaneously. The trail ends. The 2026 Cremona thefts brought renewed attention to what specialists had been documenting for years. The targeting of instruments is not opportunistic. The luthier's workshop in Cremona was surveilled before the theft. The 3 instruments taken were not the most visually prominent pieces in the shop. They were the 3 with the cleanest chain of custody documentation. The 3 most likely, paradoxically, to support a fabricated provenance. Whoever planned the theft understood the market. They were not stealing violins. They were acquiring inventory for a supply chain that already knew where they were going. The Carabinieri TPC recovered 2 of the 3 instruments within 6 weeks, found in a storage facility outside Milan, still in their cases, apparently not yet moved along the chain. The 3rd has not been found. Its documentation was the cleanest of the 3. Somewhere tonight, in a climate-controlled room in a jurisdiction nobody has yet thought to look, there is a violin that was made in Cremona 3 centuries ago by a man who signed his name to it. The label is gone, or changed, or replaced. The varnish may have been stripped, the scroll may have been reshaved, and the person who holds it may have paid for it legally, or may believe they did. The forensic tools to identify it exist. The legal frameworks to seize it, in many of the places it is most likely to be, do not. And the specialists who study these instruments will tell you that the 3rd violin from the Cremona workshop, the one with the cleanest documentation, the one taken by people who understood what they were taking, was probably not the first instrument they moved this way. The question nobody can answer is how many came before it.